This video is an update of Mary Sears' case. Her court-appointed attorney says she's impressed by the video and thinks she can beat it. I'm not so sure I believe her on actually trying with this case, but hopefully she does. I'm adding a lot of the traffic stop to this video too. And another thing, I was sent a recording of a phone call made by a man named Lee out of Michigan. His YouTube name is Rotten Apples. And the phone call was made to Office of Professional Standards of the San Angelo Police Department. The detective made some accusations about me editing the video and not being truthful with what really happened. So I also added in more of that traffic stop, 28 minutes and 40 seconds to be exact, to this video. But first we're going to go ahead and listen to the recorded phone call.
Professional standards.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I was calling in regards to an incident that occurred a little while back in April, involving one of your officers during a traffic stop.
Okay.
Officer Morris,
Officer Morris.
you familiar with him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, it appears.
With the traffic stop.
Pardon me?
Were you the person that was involved in the traffic stop?
No, Officer Morris was the officer that pulled the person over.
Oh, so you're calling on behalf of somebody else?
Well, I was calling on behalf of somebody else to bring something to the attention of you, being in the position that you're in, and I'm sure that you wouldn't want officers out on the street conducting themselves in a negative manner, conducting activities that would possibly be illegal.
Okay. And what's the what is it that you want to report?
Well, Officer Morris was involved in a stop with a woman named Mary Elizabeth Sear.
Okay.
And originally he pulled the I won't say young lady, he pulled the woman over, she's 58. He pulled the woman over for invalid insurance according to the system that was within his patrol car. Although the system was faulty, allegedly she did have insurance but just didn't have proof on her person. And apparently there was a search after she was pulled over, and there were some drugs that were found.
Okay.
Well, I've become aware of a video that I would like to bring to your attention of somebody who was observing the traffic stop from a distance, and they captured video of Officer Morris possibly conducting himself in illegal activities.
Are you referring to the Jack Miller video?
Yes, the one. Yes, correct. Right,
And this is the one that he videotaped or video recorded and edited. Is that correct?
He videotaped it. I'm not sure what you mean by edit the video.
Okay. Well, from the video, it doesn't show it doesn't show the actual events. Correct? It shows him stopping, zooming in, and then exiting and stuff like that. So that's what I mean editing. Real time is what I consider nonstop.
Well, right. Well, time constraints always dictate the length of videos that you might want to post on social media, but I'm sure that he has the original full-length video, and he'd be willing to forward that to you guys if you really wanted the unedited version of the video. But nonetheless, the facts of the matter don't change what are in the video, even if it's just a portion of it. You're aware of that video, though, right?
Yes, I am.
what, if anything, can you give me a comment on that video and what you see in that video?
Well, the incident has been investigated by this office, and it's been determined that Officer Morris nor the other officer that was involved committed any crimes or any violations of that against the department policy.
Well, what are the standards that you use? You use the department policies and procedures to determine the outcome of your investigation for their behavior or their potential behavior?
There's Officer Morris was alleged to have committed a crime. We look at the first if he committed a violation of department policy. Any officer that commits a crime is by our department policy committing a violation. It's conduct unbecoming an officer.
Right.
So we review the incident and determine that a crime has been committed. At that point, we forward our findings to a neutral law enforcement party, and usually that's either going to be. Are you from Texas?
No, I'm not from Texas, but I'm fairly familiar with Texas and.
What does this area come from?
I'm from Michigan.
Michigan.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Well, here we have what's known as the Texas Rangers.
Yes, I'm from. Yep.
The Texas Department of Public Safety, they're investigators that we at times use to investigate violations committed by officers, just so we could show that the department is neutral, and we always ask an outside agency to investigate any crimes, or we could also use, or we live within the county of Palm Green, we could have those investigators follow up on an investigation, or we could even utilize the FBI to do the investigation.
Do you? I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We utilize the in-car video recording systems that each vehicle has. Each officer is issued an Axon body-worn camera. So we utilize the in-car video and the body-worn camera to show the actual real-time footage as to what they saw or what they did. And so that's how the investigation was done. The complaint was made, it was investigated, and we found that Officer Morris did not, plant any evidence and did not steal any property. And so, he committed no crime and he committed no department policy. He acted within the powers that he is allowed to.
Right, I understand. I understand you guys, or not you, but law enforcement in general uses the interdepartmental investigations to determine whether their officers did or did not do anything illegal. And usually, typically, the results are that you don't find them to be responsible or guilty or have done anything wrong. Have you been, pardon me?
That's not always true.
Okay, well, it's possible. It's possible that there are some exceptions. As far as transparency with this entire situation, the Texas Rangers and you have documentation and proof that that you're willing to release to the public that shows that you passed this investigation along to the Texas Rangers and that they've concluded the same that you have?
This investigation was not forwarded over to the Texas Rangers.
Oh, you just said it was.
No, I didn't. I said if a crime is
Okay, all right, okay, I apologize.
we'll forward it.
All right, so how did you, do you have reports within your department in the office that you yourself, so did you conduct these investigations yourself, or did somebody else conduct this investigation?
I conducted this investigation, and I'm with the Office of Professional Standards. Most people would recognize it as internal affairs.
Right.
My job is to look into the police officers within our department.
Okay, understood. Correct. All right, so since the finding that you've come to the conclusion that your officer did nothing wrong.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of people out here that don't agree with your determination.
Okay.
And so the people out here, well, let me finish what I was saying, and then you can respond if you don't mind. There's a lot of people out here, a lot of citizens, a lot of the public that are not satisfied with that as a conclusion. So how do we, the public, ask another party, the Texas Rangers, to investigate? Who would forward that? Who has the ability to get that investigation passed to the Rangers, since you guys concluded that they've done nothing wrong, and the public at large claims different?
You as a citizen, not a citizen of Texas, but as a citizen of the United States.
I understand what you're saying. Right.
You can file a complaint. You can file that complaint to either our Texas Ranger Division within this jurisdiction. The capital of Texas is Austin.
Right.
And the main Texas Ranger unit is there.
Right off. Yeah, I know right where it's at.
So you could file a complaint to them directly and have them start looking into the investigation, at which point they will come in and it will get assigned to a ranger unit, and they would come in and we as the police department will comply with the investigation. You could also forward it to the FBI in Texas, and they could also do the same thing. They could, as a complaint, they could contact our agency and then go through their procedures to investigate. And
Right.
at that point, Texas Rangers or the FBI can make their determination as to whether or not a crime was committed by Officer Jones.
Right. That's understood.
And of course, they would use the videos that we have, and also have access to the internal investigation that was completed by myself.
Right. Now let me ask you some follow-up questions, if you don't mind. Did you claim that you're the one that conducted this investigation? So that would mean that if there was any interview done with Mary Sear herself, that would have been conducted by you, or did somebody else interview her?
As for the circumstances of the investigation, all this is confidential and cannot be disclosed to the public. All I can tell you is an investigation was conducted and the determination was made. I can't give you details of the investigation.
Well, I'm not asking for details. I'm asking if you interviewed Mary Sear. That's not asking for details. That's a generic question.
No, that is given details.
Oh, so if I asked Mary Sear herself, would she tell me that you interviewed her?
You could do what you feel.
You see. Well, I'm just asking you a question. It doesn't. Being evasive isn't doing the situation any good as it is.
I'm not being evasive.
Well, it's a simple question, sir. It's not a difficult question, sir. If you want transparency within your agency, so that the public will trust you, and that you have nothing to hide, then you'll answer the simple question. If you interviewed Mary, because what your response tells me that you failed to do so. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Your response tells me that you failed to interview Mary to get her side of the story of what occurred. You probably just relied upon the body-worn cameras, the dash cameras, and possibly maybe you looked at the video.
To have any of the information regarding our internal investigation.
Well, let me ask you what did you in the district attorney's office have a partnership in your investigation, or was it just in-house with your investigation alone?
The district attorney deals with criminal investigation.
I understand what the district attorney does. That wasn't my question. What did you do as far as with the district attorney? Did you see, now you're starting to become quite, defensive here, which seems to be quite, admission of guilt to a degree.
What you're telling me what I should and should not know. So
I'm not telling you anything, but I'm asking you simple questions. You're the one who's telling me that you conducted the investigation. Or do you want to change your story, or are you the one that conducted the investigation?
You're the one that asked me if the district attorney was involved with it.
Did you involve the district attorney? Was the district attorney interested in this investigation that you conducted in these accusations that Officer Morris has conducted illegal activity? Is the district attorney aware of this investigation? Yes or no?
The district attorney is involved with criminal investigation.
So you're avoiding the question again. You should become a politician.
If you would let me answer and not become so.
Oh, so what you're saying is what you're beating around the bush. So let me tell you what you're saying. You're telling me that, and you're gonna give me a lesson in what the district attorney's position is and how you're being quite.
Apparently you don't know.
No, apparently I do. So what you're going to tell me is that you conducted an investigation. You found out that you determined that Officer Morris conducted no committed no crime, so you felt it no need to communicate with the district attorney about the investigation because there was no crime. Is that what you're going to tell me?
We deal with internal investigations involving the police officers. Police officers involved in policy violation. If there's not a policy violation, then there's not a crime that has been.
So then you wouldn't report it to the district attorney, and they would be unaware that any accusations were made against Officer Morris. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you, the cases involving internal matters.
Right, so you kept it internal, and you haven't brought it outside the internal echo chamber within the department, within your Office of Professional Standards. So you have not reported this incident whatsoever to the district attorney's office. Now, you have or you haven't?
There was no crime.
All right, so I will communicate with the district attorney's office, and I will let them know so you can tell them later. So okay, let me get to the transparency part of it. And again, I know what your answer is going to be, but let me present my question, if you don't mind. Let me present my question.
Do you want the district attorney's?
No, I already spoke with the district attorney. I'm awaiting a call from the district attorney's office. What I want to ask you is a simple question. I already know the answer. You're going to tell me that it's an internal department and it's private and nobody's allowed to have any information. So what I want to know is I want to be able to get the reports. I want to be able to get the video. I want to know how you conducted your report. I want to see your findings.
You have to comply with all the.
Oh, so I have to file a FOIA for you to deny it.
You have to file a request through the freedom.
You want to teach me how that operation works, or shall I? I'm pretty sure I know how FOIAs work, but you can give me a lesson in that if you like. You seem to want to give me lessons instead of answering questions.
Well, I'm telling you what the procedures are that you need to go through.
Listen. Do you think I'm 5 years old? Now I'm starting to get aggravated because you're not being professional. You're being a politician. You're not a politician. You're law enforcement. What's your name and your position again?
I am Detective Eddie Chavarria, with the Office of Professional Standards.
Okay, so you've been an officer of the law for how long?
That information can be...
It's public information. I can FOIA that, huh?
Yeah, you can.
You know, you understand that I'm trying to assist you guys here because, you know, you got yourself in between a rock and a hard place. You guys don't understand. All right, let's forget about the Mary thing for a minute here. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that there's an obvious disconnect between law enforcement and the public? Do you personally have any belief that there's a disconnect between the public and law enforcement?
My opinion is not anything that I'm going to discuss with you.
That means yes, you do, but you don't have the courage to speak about it because you're afraid of the repercussions, or you shouldn't have said that. This is ridiculous.
We cannot
Well, you know what? Listen, I'm Joe Schmo Public. I'm not, aside from my investigative journalistic, nature of this communication here. Speaking from man to man, and me watching that video, you're blind as a bat, dude. All you're doing is protecting your brother in blue. That's all you have done. You should be ashamed of yourself. Clearly that man stole money, and clearly the potential of him planting drugs from a 0 to 100, 100 being guilty, it's about 92. You should be ashamed of yourself. Officer Morris needs to resign and to turn in his certificate, his license to practice law, whatever crap you got down there. But you should be embarrassed. Your answers are nonsensical.
Well, if you file a Freedom of Information Act and talk to the district attorney, talk to the investigators or the FBI.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? When was the last time that you've had a psychological evaluation? Whether it be mandated or it be, a typical procedure that you go through during your tenure as an officer.
Again, I can ask the same of you, but I won't.
Well, I'm not a public servant. I'm not in a position of authority as you are.
Yeah. Well, again,
and you're abusing your authority as you sit there. You abuse your authority by covering up clear crimes that your officer committed. It may not be provable because you didn't get caught with the serial numbers on the cash in his pocket. It might not be provable, but I'll tell you what. In the public's eye, he is as guilty as the day is long, and you're just as guilty as he is for covering it up.
Mr. Stallman, is this...
Yes, this is my name, this is my number.
Okay.
Whatever am I offending you now because the truth strikes a nerve within you? I've tried to have a normal adult conversation with you to get to the bottom of one of your officers that you're supposed to be babysitting has gone off the deep end. If he's done it once, he's done it 1,000 times. And you sit here and insult my intelligence and want to blow smoke up my backside like I'm going to believe anything that comes out of your mouth.
Okay. If you don't believe
that man is guilty.
Of the two organizations.
Listen, man. Listen. You guys need to straighten it up.
Yeah.
You guys need to straighten it up. Straighten it up, man.
Within our police department.
Straighten it up, man. Have some pride. Have some pride. Stop being a tyrant. Stop doing the illegal things that you do. Stop covering you guys' illegal activities because you're protecting each other. If you didn't have qualified immunity, You guys wouldn't be doing these things. I guarantee it.
Okay, sir.
Knock off your illegal, corrupt nonsense. We, the people, have had enough. You are being watched everywhere you go.
Yes, sir, we are.
And you guys still do what you're doing. And then you lie about it. And then you hide it. And you wonder why the citizens are tired of your crap. And they yell, defund, defund. And you sleep like a baby at night? Do you sleep like a baby at night?
That's kind of...
Oh, is that a personal question? Should I file a FOIA to get the answer to that?
Well, I know. That's kind of weird.
That's kind of weird.
How would you,
Well, in this day and age, you know, these kinds of questions aren't so weird now, are they?
Yeah. I mean, that's weird. I mean,
What's weird in this day and age? In this day and age? What's weird?
asking a grown man a question.
Oh, really? How many stupid questions do you ask? So you would find that to be an inappropriate question? Ask a man if he sleeps good at night?
Sleeping like a baby.
Look, that's a really weird question, huh? Explain to me how weird a question that is. Come on, tell me how weird a question that is. Explain yourself.
Is there anything else that I can help you with?
You need to go get a psychological evaluation, you and all your officers. You need to get on your knees and repent to God for your pathetic behavior towards your fellow man. You're allowing a man. What's going to happen now when Morris goes out there and does some other dumb stuff? What are you going to do for him then when it's on video? And this call is being shared all around the world.
Okay.
Then what are you going to say? Then what are you going to say then? Well, we're conducting an investigation, and we've determined that they've done nothing wrong. Well, ain't that funny? Cops investigating cops and determining that nothing was done wrong. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Convenient, ain't it? Convenient, ain't it? Convenient, ain't it?
The state of Texas.
Convenient, isn't it? You want to start giving me laws and shit now? Is that what you're going to start doing? Quoting some more stupid nonsense to make yourself look like a fool some more?
Yes, sir.
Convenient, ain't it? Cops investigating cops. And guess what? We, the people, are going to do. We're establishing citizen watch committees, and you're going to be held accountable. Because guess who the prosecutors and DAs work for? They work for us.
Okay.
They work for us. You guys better stop your nonsense.
All right.
Knock it off, man. Knock it off.
All right.
It's not Fallujah, bro. We don't live in Fallujah, bro. This ain't Afghanistan, bro.
All right.
Yeah, all right. Maybe should I file a FOIA on that and make sure that we're not in Afghanistan or Fallujah? To file a FOIA on that?
On Afghanistan?
Hey, listen. That's how stupid you sounded when you're telling me all these nonsensical, giving me lessons on how to search things.
Okay. Well, I'm advising you.
Oh, what are you gonna advise me now? How are you gonna advise me now?
Like you said, the FOIA.
Oh, you're gonna advise me we'll get another FOIA.
Yes, sir.
You're real helpful. How much money you make a year? I can file a FOIA on that and find out. How much you make a year? Save me the time.
You can.
You're a waste of taxpayers' money. You're a waste of taxpayers' money.
Yes, sir.
You're a waste of taxpayers' money.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
All right. You too, sir.
All right, there was the recording. Now, this right here, what you're seeing on the screen, you're going to see this a couple of times throughout the video. The reason for that is I was experimenting and I did screen recording and used the magnifying glass on my phone. I'm trying to figure out a better way to zoom in closer because I was so far away from the traffic stop. I now know not to do that because the video quality is horrible. But that's what I did, and that's what you're seeing. So here's the 28 minutes of straight video. Or as the detective likes to say, real-time video. Later on in the video, you'll see the parts that I published a while back where it appears that he took money and looks like he might have planted something. But you can see the timeline doesn't change, I mean, like the detective says. But another thing I wanted to point out that I was pretty clear in on my first video, Officer Morris taking money is debatable. I didn't say he for sure took the money. I didn't actually see the money go into his pocket, but it looks like he did. When it comes to him planning something, I think that's undebatable. You can't debate that. No, I didn't actually see him put the drugs in the car, but when you look at it, he obviously found something of interest and he's looking at it. And he's definitely doing something with his glove or his sleeve there once he realizes I'm recording. But he goes from finding something he's interested in and looking at it to whatever it was disappearing out of his right hand. His right hand ended up empty. Then seconds after he turns away, whatever disappeared and reappeared in his right hand because his right hand tosses it back into the seat. But there is no denying he found something and he was looking at it. It was in his hands and then it disappears. And then he tosses something into the seat after he turns away. Right here, I'm still screen recording. And this is the part I published before. The only editing really that I did before was zooming in. That's it. I didn't change no timeline of the video or anything like that. I mean, you can see this is the same thing, just not zoomed in. I understand the detective has to make up excuses for his officers, and why not blame it on me? But this is exactly as it was recorded. Trying to stick it in his pocket now. I mean, it's the same thing. And another thing to keep in mind while I'm doing this experimenting with this magnifying glass thing, I was literally falling asleep while I was recording. This is a part where I really wish I didn't start dozing off and I accidentally pulled the toolbar down on my phone and I missed 10 seconds or so of recording. And then it took me a second to figure out what was going on and how to get back to it. Right here, it looks like he walks off with some cash in his hand. I mean, I may be wrong, but he walked off with some of the cash, not all of it. What reason would he have to walk off with some of the cash? Or even going through it like that? I mean, he can't keep his hands off the evidence in this stop for sure. Kind of hard to say exactly what he's doing right there, but I'm sure body cam would show all of it, but they don't want to release it. And the reasoning behind not wanting to release it is pending litigation, saying it could interfere with the prosecution. How can a parole violation interfere with the prosecution? I mean, there's no way anything could interfere with the prosecution by releasing the body cam, but they don't want to release it. I assure you, I'm going to stay on top of this. As soon as litigation is over with and there's nothing pending, I'm going to be right there ready for that body cam before they destroy it. I'm kind of curious what they're talking about here because they stand there discussing something for a while.